All right, guys, welcome back to class. We're going to get started on a few things today and kind of rev up our minds. I want to do a recap of what we did yesterday. We identified some unknown vocabulary and we wrote about these unknown words and how they helped us understand more about the poem's speaker, about the poem's setting, about the story and what's happening, its language, the mood or tone, and we looked for any patterns like rhyme. With that said, today we're going to do some further exploration into a poem from my librarian, Mrs. Long. So I want you guys to listen to me read this poem. A poem from my librarian, Miss Long. You Never Know What Troubled Little Girl Needs a Book, by Nikki Giovanni. At a time when there was not TV before 3 p.m., and on Sunday none until 5, we sat on the front porches watching the JFG sign go on and off, greeting the neighbors, discussing the political situation, congratulating the preacher on his sermon. There was always the radio, which brought us songs from WLAC and Nashville, and what we would now call easy listening or smooth jazz. But when I listened late at night with my portable, that I was so proud of, tucked under my pillow, I heard Nat King Cole and Matt Dennis, June Christie, and Ella Fitzgerald, and sometimes Sarah Vaughan sing Black Coffee, which I now drink. It was just called music. There was a bookstore uptown on Gay Street, which I visited and inhaled that wonderful odor of new books. Even today, I read hardback as a preference, paperback only as a last resort. And up the hill on Vine Street, the main black corridor, sat our Carnegie Library. Miss Long, always glad to see you. The stereoscope always ready to show you faraway places to dream about. Miss Long asking, what are you looking for today? When I wanted Leaves of Grass or Alfred North Whitehead, she would go to the big library uptown, and I now know, hat in hand, to ask to borrow so that I might borrow. Probably they said something humiliating, since Southern whites like to humiliate Southern blacks. But she nonetheless brought the books back, and I held them to my chest, close to my heart, and happily skipped back to our grandmother's house, where I would sit on the front porch in a gray glider and dream of a world far away. I loved the world where I was. I was safe and warm, and grandmother gave me neck-kissed when I was on my way to bed. But there was a world, somewhere, out there, and Miss Long opened that wardrobe, but no lions or witches scared me. I went through, knowing there would be spring. Okay, so now that we've read the poem once more, let me straighten that out. I now know that we have a better understanding of the poem because of the vocabulary work that we did yesterday. I now want us to start annotating, okay? Now that we have a better idea of what these words mean, we can annotate better. So that's why we always want to look up unknown words that we don't know first before we start annotating what's going on and what's happening within the text. Okay, so inside of Schoology, you guys are going to find an annotation document that looks like this. And I'm just going to kind of swing my, well, I guess I'll keep it down here. Okay, so you guys are going to find an annotation document inside of Schoology. It's going to be labeled Annotation Assignment, just like right here. And it's going to be inside of Schoology. Okay, now, what you are annotating for is you're looking for details about the speaker and important events. So I'm going to give you an example of what that means. So you're looking for details about the speaker and important events. Okay? So it says, at a time when there was not TV before 3 p.m. and on Sunday none until 5, we sat on the front porches watching The JFG sign go on and off, greeting. The neighbors discussing the political situation, congratulating the preacher on his sermon. So, if I want to comment on something, like for instance, I want to comment right here where it says, we sat on the front porches watching. I'm going to highlight it and go up here to this icon here for open comments, and I'm going to add a comment. So this is how we're going to electronically annotate, okay? So right here, this tells me that we sat on the front porches watching at a time when there was not TV before 3 p.m. and on Sunday, none until 5. This kind of lets me know that this is kind of like a routine. This is something that maybe she does with someone that she knows. So this is an event of hers. You know how sometimes you want to hang out with your mother or your father and you guys may curl up and watch a nice movie or something of that nature, and that's an event for you guys, something that you guys share. Well, here that's what's happening as well. So what I'm going to say is for we sat on the front porches watching, I'm going to say, this was a favorite pastime of hers to do with someone special or someone she knows. To sit out on the porch, okay? So now that I've typed that, I'm going to click comment, and there is my annotation, okay? So again, we're looking for details about the speaker and important events. So another example that I want to show you guys, and I'm going to put my face up here, is it says congratulating the preacher on his sermon. So I'm going to highlight that, come up here and click comment, and I'm going to create my next annotation. So what this tells me about her is that maybe she was raised in the church. Maybe the speaker was raised in the church, okay? Because why would they be congratulating the preacher on a sermon if they didn't hear it? So maybe she came from an important, maybe her family really valued religion. And maybe she values religion. So I could say that. Okay. And I'm going to press comment. So now I have my 2 annotation notes here on the side of my document, okay? And I know we can't get all of that in here, but I have my 2 annotation notes on the document. So now I've talked about an important event that I learned about, and that tells me something about the poem. And I've also annotated something that tells me about the speaker. So this tells me about an event of her sitting on her porch with family or maybe someone that she knows is special. And here, this lets me know where she is. It's letting me know about the speaker in relation to what she holds dear to her, what she finds important. So one thing I can say is that she values church, just like I wrote here. Okay? So now that you guys have seen my annotation notes, you can pause here if you'd like and go and do this work. If you have any questions, again, I'll be in my office hours. Good luck. So this is where you guys can pause on this page and we'll pick up from here. Today, come back to the video, but go ahead and complete your annotation if you'd like, and then we will move on to the next activity for today. All right, guys, welcome back. So now you guys should have annotated your poem based off of details about the speaker and important events like we discussed. So now we're going to move on. Now that you guys have annotated, you should kind of pretty much have a clear idea of what this poem is about, right? And this is a narrative poem because it tells a story. So now we're going to practice drafting summaries, okay? The link for this assignment is in Schoology, and it is labeled Summary Assignment. Okay, I'm going to give you guys an example or show you what it looks like inside of Schoology. Once you go inside, you will see this document, okay? You are to draft a summary using these sentence frames. Use elaboration. These are not one sentence answers. You are to use complete sentences. So I do want you to elaborate on this. So you are going to write your summary using these 3 sentence stems. The speaker of the poem is, so tell me about her, some characteristics, who she is, maybe where she's from. The 3 most important events in the poem are. What do you think the most important events that are taking place in the poem are? You would tell me those using complete sentences. And then write, overall, the poem is about, okay? The poem is about. So when you answer and fill in these questions with complete sentences and elaboration, this paragraph that you're going to create out of these 3 sentence frames will provide you with your summary. All right. So now I want you guys to take some time, use those sentence frames, and create your summary. Once you guys have created your summary, and again, if anyone needs help, I'm here to help you during office hours. Your exit ticket for today, which will also be in the same folder right up underneath your summary assignment, I'm going to be posing the question: which word in the poem most helps you understand what is happening in the poem My Miss Librarian, or a poem from my librarian, Mrs. Long, and why? Which word in the poem most helps you to understand what's happening in the poem? A poem from my librarian, Miss Long. There are multiple answers for this, guys. No one's answer will be the same. You're finding the word that helps you understand what's going on, what's happening in the poem. There will be a discussion board for this question in Schoology for you all to answer. Once you guys have completed that, you're done for today. Let's wrap up. Once these 2 lessons that we've gone over the last 2 days, we've accomplished a few tasks. We've read the poem again for the 2nd time. We've annotated for key details and vocabulary. We've drafted a summary of the poem with sentence stems, and we've expressed what we've learned with an exit ticket. All right. So you guys, if you need any help, again, I'm in office hours, but good luck to you on your assignments for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.